A big update in Clackamas County. The cities of Canby, Oregon City, and Sandy have all been dropped from a level 2 evacuation be set to a level 1 be ready. Now, any area that was in a level 3 evacuation zone is still level 3. The largest fire in Clackamas County, the Riverside fire, did grow again last night, but firefighters are making some real progress. Maggie Vespa reports from Oregon City.
Hey, good evening from downtown Oregon City. So in short, the spokesperson for the Riverside fire, and yes, it's so big, it has its own spokesperson, tells us that overnight firefighters were able to pivot from defensive mode to offensive, meaning they can now just kind of attack the fire. They were able to do that because weather conditions improved and they got backup from state and federal agencies. That said, that fire still grew overnight, and agencies want us to stress we are by no means out of the woods. A graphic look at the front lines of what firefighters call a historic fire event. Multiple fires are burning in Clackamas County, across the state, and up and down the West Coast. This is one video of one fire in Molalla. Clackamas Fire shot it a few days ago and sent it to us Friday. To say firefighters have been overwhelmed is a vast understatement.
Folks may not understand just how quickly that fire can spread.
Brent Olson is a battalion chief with Clackamas Fire. He's been working the Riverside fire. It's at 132,000 acres, and this is some of its damage. We shot this video Saturday afternoon just off Woodburn Estacada Highway between Springwater and Dodge. Multiple homes gone. We asked Battalion Chief Olson to describe how that fire moves.
Fire was moving and progressing through the landscape at a very rapid pace and spotting out in front of itself, meaning that there may be a fire front, but there are other fires happening in front of the main fire. So crews have to be situationally aware to make sure that they're not going to get trapped in between two fires.
While those crews stay vigilant on the front lines, others are guarding cities and towns. Just in the last day or two, some Clackamas firefighters have been able to turn work over to federal and state crews and return to their home stations. The hard part, as word spreads, people call, desperate for news about their homes.
Some of the stuff I don't have the answers to, and it's very difficult to be like, I don't know. You know, when somebody asks the question, like, what about my house? What about this? And to say that I don't know is kind of hard. It's kind of hard to deal with.
That said, firefighters are being hailed as heroes. In what feels like a ghost town, one store stayed open. People are coming in, buying food and leaving it for firefighters.
They'll get water, get energy drinks, anything that we can support them, especially water. So we, and like right now the fire's like what, a couple miles away from here, and like we're here for them.
And firefighters tell us they're really grateful for that support. That said, again, they want people to continue heeding these evacuation warnings, especially level 3, because these fires are still really active. We did get a question on social media that we want to answer. Someone reached out and asked how close the Riverside fire is to Estacada, where we shot most of that piece. The last update that we got yesterday was that it was within half a mile. The easiest way to track that is to go to Clackamas County's map of the evacuation zones. It also has the outline of the fire, and firefighters update that as much as possible. They say it's tough to do it in real time multiple times a day because at this point the smoke is so thick they can't see or fight the fire from the air. Reporting in Oregon City, I'm Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
Maggie, thank you. Now, there was some concern that the Riverside and Beachy Creek fires would merge today. Let's take a closer look at this statewide fire map. We're just going to zoom in right here. And Estacada, as Maggie had mentioned, just right up here in this area, right here actually is where it is. But you can see Riverside and Beachy Creek fire. There is still a zone right here that separates them. The two large fires have not merged, and officials say they are still prepared for that possibility. You can see just how close that fire line is to the city of Estacada. And if you click on our main story on KGW.com, the first link that you see is going to take you right to this map. It's a really great resource, a great way for you to stay up to date when you can. And Erica Stapleton is following the latest on the Beachy Creek fire for us tonight, live in Staten. Erica.
Here in Marion County, officials say evacuation levels have not changed tonight as the Beachy Creek fire slowly spreads north. Crews have made some progress, they say, maintaining the line on the southern end to stop it from spreading further along Highway 22, which is where we're at now. Even so, it's still too dangerous to go back inside, leaving some bracing for the worst. When your city turns to ashes,
my home seems to be okay.
Relief becomes a tough pill to swallow.
So that was followed by euphoria, followed very shortly thereafter by a real sense of guilt because mine is still there and so many others lost their home.
Like Dean O'Donnell.
There's a basement shell and it looks like embers of what used to be our house.
His home where he lived with his wife of nearly 50 years.
It was my little bit of heaven that I thought I had.
And if he has it his way, it still will be.
I personally have no doubt that we will rebuild our home.
And to say that with a smile.
We'll dwell in the memories and it'll all come back.
Speaks to what he calls the Detroit way.
The only way to get through this is to concentrate on the silver linings.
Like his family's Mountain High grocery store, a staple still standing.
I'm grateful for that.
Because when your city turns to ashes,
we can't look backwards, we have to look forward.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office is working on a plan to try and bring people inside, escorting them inside so they can take a look at what they left behind. But for now, this barricade still stands. We'll keep you posted on the timeline of when people might be able to go back inside. For now, we are live in Staten. Erica Stapleton, back to you.
Erica, thank you for that update. Well, air quality across most of the state ranges from unhealthy to hazardous, and in some places like the Mid-Valley, the air has been so bad it's off the charts. The more you're exposed to this unhealthy air, the greater the risk to your health. It's especially concerning for people with underlying lung and heart conditions, things like asthma, COPD, and heart disease. The air quality we're experiencing can make those illnesses worse. But Dr. John Balmes, an expert on the impact of wildfire smoke on our health, says we are all at risk for an increase in respiratory illness because of the smoke, and that includes the coronavirus. He's worried about the crossroads of this pandemic and wildfire smoke.
Wildfire smoke is like tobacco smoke without the nicotine. COPD can be exacerbated, and asthma definitely can be exacerbated by wildfire smoke. There's an increased risk for lower respiratory tract infections too, and that actually affects everybody, even healthy people.
Now, there are some things that you can do to protect you and your loved ones. First, stay indoors, especially if you can, as much as you can. Close all those windows, doors, and don't forget about fireplace dampers. If you have air conditioning, turn it to the recirculation setting. That's going to keep it from pulling outside air into your room. And put damp towels under the doors and other places where outside air might be leaking in. You can find more tips at kgw.com. And let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. We've been talking about the fires and the air quality, still very smoky in much of the region.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly, Brittany. It's brutal out there with the smoke. Let me show you what's going on in Portland right now and what is happening all around our region with the air quality. We'll look at the air quality indices around our part of the state and up into Washington, and you can see that they are all in the very unhealthy or hazardous category, which is as bad as it gets in most locations. We'll zoom out, and our misery has spread on off to the east and north. It's really bad air up around Spokane, the Idaho Panhandle, up into northwestern Montana, around Kalispell, and then also over down towards Boise and throughout most of Oregon right now. It is either very unhealthy or in most places hazardous air, and it's going to stay that way into tomorrow, but I do have some good news for you too. But first, the list that you don't want to be on. The World Air Quality Index ranking major cities, Portland for at least the third day in a row, leads all major cities in the world with the worst air, followed by Vancouver, BC. Remember those days when we used to kind of battle it out about the Cascadia Cup? Hopefully we'll get back to that soon. Who has the better brew pubs? That would be nice. Talk about that, but with Vancouver, BC, not about our bad air. Now, if you drill down even further, the smaller towns and cities in the Northwest are even worse than Portland. I mean, these air quality indexes in Happy Camp in Northern California, Washougal, double what we have in Portland sometimes. So it's really bad air the closer you get to those fires. In Portland right now, it's 56. We also have really low visibility too, and for that reason we've got the dense smoke advisory continuing for much of the region. But there is good news on the way. There's help for the firefighters now. The smoke get a little thinner tomorrow, and we'll talk about the rain on the way early next week. Brittany, back to you.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Well, get this, Facebook today announced it is removing false claims from its site that the wildfires were started on purpose by certain groups. This is a tweet from a Facebook exec. Law enforcement have repeatedly debunked rumors about groups like Antifa intentionally starting fires. They've also told us 911 dispatchers are swamped answering questions about these rumors, which wastes time when they could be helping people who need it. Coming up, they lost everything, but this family still finds time for laughter.
This too shall pass. It might pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass.
I want to be part of this family. Their positive outlook will put a smile on your face, at the very least. Their story coming up next.
Information about the wildfires is constantly changing, so KGW is here for you with crews in the air, crews on the ground, and the latest weather information. KGW is working to keep you informed so you can keep your family safe.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now.
But we have ants.
You're slouching again, Ted.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
Thanks, Aunt Bonnie.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save a lot of money.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request?
I'll have to check.
Aunt Joni's here.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Hello.
1, 2, 3,
Get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2020 Corolla. Or get $1,750 customer cash on Corolla. Or you can lease a new 2020 Corolla for $189 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Choosing a window replacement company is tough. With middlemen involved, you could end up paying too much. But with Champion, there are no middlemen. You get the factory direct price on your new windows. We call that single source accountability. And that's what we mean when we say we design, build, install, and guarantee it. Don't miss out on our best sale of the year. Save 50% off your new windows. One call, one company. Learn more at getchampionwindows.com today.
Today was the day that I put everything in perspective. I fell asleep when I woke up.
Hi, do you want to share my sandwich?
Good feeds our connections. Good feeds us all. Hormel Natural Choice Lunch Meats.
Welcome back, everyone. Near the coast, the Echo Mountain fire has destroyed at least 100 homes. Some people in Lincoln City were able to return home today as evacuation orders were downgraded, but others, they won't have a home to return to. As Katie Eastman reports, they're still counting their blessings.
How people respond to a moment in time,
can you say,
is telling.
I'm happy. Happy. Yeah, you're happy.
These cousins, aunts, daughters, sons, and sisters tell a joke.
You got to be able to laugh at it.
Laugh even as they cram into a home in Tillamook that isn't their own.
And said, babe, there's a fire on Echo Mountain. And I'm like, what? I thought he was just joking with me.
The family left Otis early on Tuesday morning with a couple changes of clothes.
My sister, Katie, she was evacuated. No, I was evacuated.
All of them thought they'd be back at their homes in a few days.
Couldn't get really anything else out. We were mad scramble. This is my house. That's my Jeep in the driveway.
But almost all of their homes are gone.
I really numb, but my house would be standing right there at the edge of the picture. It's just not there.
This family has lived in Lincoln County for 5 decades.
Our whole little nest egg community is gone. It just burned through it, and hundreds of people displaced.
When they need help, they turn to each other.
Hi, Willie.
But all of them have never needed so much at one time.
Mine's gone too.
And that has led to a bonding of sorts.
Well, I don't have to replace my kitchen floor.
It's telling.
Or my roof.
How people react in times of need.
We don't have to put the trim in. Oh my gosh.
You know, it's those little things that it's like, at that moment, were huge. You know, and now it's like, well, okay. Now we don't have to do any of that. Now we can just, it's going to be a fresh start.
What this family lost told them how much they have.
that's just always us. We've always been family first.
This too shall pass. It might pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass.
In Tillamook, Katie Eastman.
I heard that from my brother. Your brother, who heard it from the radio.
KGW News.
The Toyota family is stronger together. We are here for you now and in better days ahead. Toyota.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Can Jesus save you? You bet he can. You see, he loves you. Jesus came to this earth to save sinners. I'm a sinner, and you're a sinner. Maybe you think, well, frankly, he can't forgive me because I've sinned too much. That's just a lie. He can forgive anybody and everybody. Jesus came to give his life for your life. He died and shed his blood for your sins, and God raised him to life. And God will forgive you if you're willing to accept by faith Jesus Christ. Just say in your heart, just say, God, I've sinned, I'm sorry, forgive me. I want to turn from my sins. I believe Jesus Christ is your Son, and I want to trust him as my Savior from this day forward. If you pray that prayer, God will forgive your sins, and he'll make you a new person. If you've never asked Christ to come into your heart, do that right now. And if you prayed that prayer, call that number that's on the screen. Do that right now. We've got people who'd like to pray with you. God bless.
Little hands should hold this, and these, but never these. Tobacco and vapes kill thousands and cost Oregonians $1.5 billion each year. But Measure 108 can start the healing. Oregon doesn't tax vapes, so by establishing a vape tax and raising the tobacco tax, 108 funds health and prevention programs. It will prevent thousands of deaths by getting smokers to quit and keep thousands of children from starting. A healthier Oregon is in our hands. Vote yes on Measure 108.
Wake up, check your texts, Facebook alerts, then get your daily dose of energy and info with KGW's 3 Things to Know newsletter. Face your day plugged in. Go to kgw.com/email to sign up now.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Matt Safino. I'm going to start you out with a picture sent in by photographer Zach Stone up in the Cascades. And boy, it really tells the story. And Zach posted this on Instagram with the hashtag Detroit Strong. And absolutely, we know they'll rebuild, and just a really, really telling sign there. What's also telling is the satellite imagery and all the smoke that is now poured all across the Northwest, not just the west side anymore. The good news is there's less smoke offshore. We still have some just out along the immediate coast, about 60 to 100 miles, but farther afield, we're seeing far less than we had been. Now, this is a picture from pilot Todd Coombs, sent me this at flight level, which was well above the smoke. Remember when the sky used to be blue? It still is. It's still blue up there, above about 13,000 feet. That's where the top of the smoke is. And I've been watching the winds at those elevations and below, and they are beginning to increase a bit, which is good news because that's going to help to alleviate the smoke, clear it out, and bring us back to a blue sky that we can actually see. In fact, this is the wind forecast at about 5,000 feet over Portland right on into Wednesday. And you see how it's ramping up tomorrow and into tomorrow night and Monday morning, about 20 knots or so, 20 miles an hour rather, which is great. We'd love to see that. And the winds higher up, say 10,000 to 13,000 feet, will be pushing 40, 50 miles an hour, which is also awesome in terms of clearing out the smoke. That's because we have a weather system coming on shore that has the promise of at least a little bit of rainfall too. But right now, it's all about the smoke for the valleys that are not being threatened by wildfire. And for the areas near the fires, this is good news too, because we should get some rain on those fires at some point. It's all about that weather system that's offshore. Our big high pressure center is moving south into Nevada, and that's going to allow more wind flow to migrate over the Northwest. So here we go. You can see on Tuesday, there's rain. That's a fairly decent amount of rain right there. Breaks up around Wednesday or so. And then as we go into Thursday and Friday, I think we'll see that system off the coast actually move in and bring us another chance of rain. So there's more than one. Now, this is the European model forecast for the rainfall, and it's really backed off. Even as recent as yesterday, It was forecasting a couple of inches across parts of western Oregon. Now it's far less. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle. 65 is our high today because of the smoke. It is really playing havoc with our temperatures, keeping the coast around 50 at Newport, 64 at Tillamook. Eastern Oregon is still warmed up, but even there the smoke is having an influence on the temperatures. That's downtown Portland right now. Thick smoke, 56 degrees. And as I mentioned earlier, the visibility is down to a quarter mile in many locations. If you are driving, you're going to need to slow down with the reduced visibility. So smoke mixed with fog on the coast tomorrow for the valleys. We're also looking at smoke, but I think it'll thin a little bit, at least in the morning, probably thicken up in the afternoon, then thin tomorrow night. Dense smoke advisory in the Cascades, central and eastern Oregon. You will have some dense smoke tomorrow, make the low 80s. And in the gorge, not much wind, but there will be smoke and fog out that way for Portland. Thick smoke tonight and fog tomorrow, with smoke in the morning, and then it begins to thin tomorrow night and into Monday. And I think by Tuesday we will be out of the smoke and hopefully get some decent amount of rain on those fires Monday, Tuesday, and again late in the week. We're back right after this.
Last week, Jimmy had Trump's cover-up.
I'm not sure what's more upsetting, the comments Trump reportedly made or what he's going to do to change the subject.
And that's why we're nuking the moon.
This week, there's Shaquille O'Neal, Seth MacFarlane, and Jessica Alba. And Monday, Jude Law, Newfoundland.
However you go back, Walmart's got your back.
Get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2020 RAV4. Or get $17.50 customer cash on RAV4. Or you can lease a new 2020 RAV4 for $259 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Jackie, I'm looking at your MRI. Your shoulder seems to be healing nicely.
Well, Dr. Farrell, it feels really good.
That's good.
And I'm sorry. Baby, don't touch that. I don't want you to play with it.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. I'm so glad that your shoulder's feeling better, but how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Schedule a video visit with your doctor and get quality care with no copay. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive.
So I'm going to hold on promoting you this quarter.
Drop the taco. Get in the car. Does this Sentra feel like a compromise to you? The handling, it's good, right? No compromise there. Watch this. Rear automatic braking. So if this Nissan Sentra isn't going to compromise, why should you?
The all-new Nissan Sentra with more standard safety features than any other car in its class. Right now, get a low $189 per month lease on the 2020 Nissan Sentra.
It's here. Two of the biggest names in gaming and entertainment, BetMGM and Spirit Mountain Casino, join together to bring you the best in sports betting. BetMGM at Spirit Mountain Casino. It's now open, so be a part of the action.
Affordable vacations start at Curtis Trailers, Portland and Beaverton.
You know, so many people are being affected by these wildfires, losing so much. But our community is stepping up, whether that's by raising money, providing shelter for animals, or serving a hot meal. Art Edwards found some inspiring ways they're helping in Newburgh.
Here at Mountain View Middle School in Newburgh, volunteers took over the kitchen. They've been preparing meals for first responders and other people who have been impacted by all the fires. It started out as kind of a smaller effort, but then it started to grow. It's busy in the kitchen at Newburgh's Mountain View Middle School this weekend. Volunteers making meals for people who need them. This started with one restaurant turning to social media and offering meals to first responders and others earlier this week. But the effort took off.
And we just really wanted to make sure people were taken care of, take a little stress off of their plate. And just provide a little support for folks in the time of need.
They have volunteers, kitchen space, a smoker to use. Stores, restaurants, and farms in and around Newburgh all stepped up to help.
All the cooks and farmers and everyone in the community just kind of converged and is making it happen. And a lot of talent on both parts, and everyone's cooperating really awesomely.
They're preparing more than 300 meals a day in cooperation with World Central Kitchen. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The meals are boxed up and loaded into trucks and taken to where they're most needed. Not far from here at Frog Pond Farm in Wilsonville, they're doing what they can to help.
It was a very quick pivot of offering refuge for both animals and people that were getting displaced by the fire. We're up to, I believe it's 145 animals that have come here this week, and 6 families that are seeking refuge here as well.
They've taken in mostly llamas, but they're offering shelter to goats, sheep, donkeys, and other animals. For the families staying here, it offers some comfort and peace of mind. Matt Rumgay and his family had to leave their Molalla home on Tuesday. They've been here ever since. Usually, he says he's the one to help people in need.
It's been kind of a humbling experience to be on the receiving side of things.
Rumgay says that so far his house is just fine. As far as the volunteers here cooking meals, they say they're going to keep doing it until there is no more need. Reporting from Newburgh, Art Edwards, KGW News.
Stay connected during breaking news with the KGW app. Don't have it yet? Download it today at the App Store or Google Play.
I'm Jamie Herrera Butler, and I approve this message.
Carolyn Long criticized the program that saved jobs right here.
Carolyn Long attacked the bipartisan job-saving COVID relief program. She's an extreme partisan who'd make things worse. Long also supports massive tax hikes. That would kill jobs. Without jobs, families lose health insurance.
Carolyn Long is more interested in playing politics than saving jobs.
Lost jobs, destroying health care. We can't afford Carolyn Long.
The first thing I would tell you about myself is that I care deeply about people. I care deeply for students. I had been having some problems, and I got a call after I was home from surgery. It was Providence Health Plan. They called just to check in on me. It was wonderful to know that they were there and they cared.
Community is strength. For over 160 years, we've raised the standard of care in our community because the healthier each of us are, the healthier we all are. Discover true health.
Of all the times to buy a car, you might think now simply sucks. Unless you take advantage of the world's first no contact, no touch, no pressure, no sweat, no stress, no shade, no worries, and above all, no bugs test drive. Right from your very own home. Get ready to change how you buy a car. Get ready to shift. Now every Shift car comes with EPA-approved antimicrobial protection. Free. Visit shift.com/free.
I'm Carolyn Long, and I approve this message.
Jamie Herrera Butler said,
I wouldn't be opposed to support from anybody.
Bought off by corporate special interests. And when Trump wanted to give them billions in tax giveaways, she bought in to him.
Then I see the disinfectant.
Even his attempt to dismantle our healthcare during a pandemic. Now she's buying in again.
Are you going to vote for Trump this year?
I am.
Jamie Herrera Butler. Bought off by them, bought in on Trump.
Well, before we go tonight, we want to tell you about a way that you can help our community impacted by these historic wildfires. This is the QR code to donate to our Northwest Response Fund. Just point your smartphone camera at the code right there on your screen. A link is going to pop up for the Red Cross website, or you could go straight to kgw.com/Red Cross. We've already raised more than $1 million in less than a week. That is amazing. That's from people like you stepping up to help. We need that help. So thank you so much for your generosity. Thanks so much. Stay safe. We'll be back tomorrow morning.